I want to ask, are you in favor of defunding the police?
I'm in favor of abolishing the police and making the police a private security to be handled by the market.
Abolish means not getting rid of them, but just privatize?
Right. So, because security is something that is so important, you can't have a government monopoly do it well. Just same reasons you don't have a socialized healthcare, you shouldn't have socialized security.
And would we have a better police force if it was privatized?
Of course, because then if someone is violent or not doing their job correctly, they're going to have consequences, as opposed to the government letting them get off scot-free. And the police were the ones who kept everyone from defending themselves when all the rioting was happening last year. Only a government monopoly is the position to tell everyone, you got to sit there and watch your building get burnt down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because
Yeah,
they were controlled, the police departments and other places were controlled by the government, and they were telling them to
exactly.
stand down.
Right, exactly. So at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, how much money is Gavin Newsom going to pay you for you to sit down and watch while neighborhoods get burned down? If you had competition in a private system, there at least one agency will be like, we're the ones who are going to keep you safe while everyone else is staying at home, and they'll get all the business.
Have we ever had a privatized police in this
We've had
country?
yeah, semi-privatized in the past. Police, the having kind of a monopoly, government monopoly in police, is a relatively recent phenomenon, which happened as a result of the rise of the cities, like in the late 1800s. But back in the day, as you know, the Second Amendment was about having a militia, meaning everyone had a weapon. Everyone was
Yeah,
trained to use it,
yeah.
and everyone was looking out for their own neighborhood, instead of this concept that this is one of the reasons I'm leaving New York. I got to sit in my home, and if someone wants to break in here and kill me, I just got to be, oops, I better hope I get to my cell phone. It's crazy.
I know when I was growing up, I mean, everybody had guns, and it was like having a car. It wasn't a big
Of
deal.
course.
And we knew it was to protect ourselves, to hunt, because we had rifles and things to go hunting. But I never imagined one day that the government would try to take our guns away from us, and then there are people who would go along with it. It just doesn't seem to be logical that people would agree to give up their weapons.
If someone broke into my house and I shot them here in New York City, in Brooklyn, I would 100% be in more trouble than them.
Yeah, it's like that
It's
in
not even a
LA too.
question. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course, it's not even a question.
that's amazing, huh?
This is one of the reasons I'm an anarchist. Only the government can put you in that position where you're forced to be helpless in your own home.
When I hear the word anarchist, it sounds radical, but you don't look like a radical person. You have a haircut.
Well, you also thought I didn't look like a Jew, so here we are.
Oh man, you don't look like anything. You really are.
I'm, I'm a woman of color.
Amazing. So listen, your impression of Black Lives Matter. What do you think of them?
I think it's pretty funny how they were used so effectively by the Democratic Party. And as soon as Biden gets elected, they couldn't even get them on the phone. Did you see they sent out a press
I
release? They say
did.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden won't even return our phone calls.
I know.
So
I saw
they
that.
were, yeah, they were being completely exploited by the Democratic Party and the media. I think that's hilarious. I also think that they're a mixed bag. It's easy to hate on them, but I think what some members of that group realize is that the Democratic Party, while it takes their votes, isn't really going to do anything for their communities, and they're frustrated. So I think there's a mix.
So could people be used by the government? Because I noticed that black people, not all but most, are being used, and they've been used for years by the government in order to destroy America, to turn it into a socialist communist society. The blacks are being used for that by using the word racism and blaming everybody else on the failure of the blacks, their inability to do for themselves. Could people be used and not know that they're being used?
Well, of course, because and I don't think it's exclusive to black people. If you look at labor unions, right, this was often used as a mechanism to increase government power. Right now, sick people. If you have COVID, this is an excuse for the government to tell you how to live your life and where you can go, whether you can even leave the country. So I don't think the powers that be really care about what group it is. It's whoever, like a toolbox. If I can grab a wrench to transgender people, oh, I can use Muslim people, I can use Jewish people, I can use gay people, I can use
Yeah.
poor people, whatever tool I can use at the moment. And as soon as, and poor whites used to be a big group for the Democratic Party. And as soon as they started voting Republican with the Reagan Democrats, now they're all Klansmen and evil and racist. They just threw them in the trash. So as soon as black people would vote Republican, for example, they would be regarded as despicable. It would just flip on a dime.
Yeah.
So it's not really about whatever the group is. It's just like, who can I exploit to further my domination and manage my power?
Did you vote for the Great White Hope?
I don't believe in voting.
What?
I don't believe in voting. I'm an anarchist.
You a Jew that don't vote?
Yeah.
Let me call Hitler.
I don't think he's gonna take your call, Jesse. I think you and I could be bunkmates.
So why don't you?
You know Jesse Lee Owens, okay?
I can't believe that. Why don't you vote? You know who the Great White Hope is, right?
Who? Muhammad Ali?
No.
Oh, Don,
Trump?
you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Every time I speak of the losing haters, I do so with great affection. They cannot help the fact that they were born fucked up. That's my favorite tweet of his. I don't believe in voting. I don't believe in democracy. My rights are not up for discussion, let alone a vote.
Really?
Yes.
And so if you don't vote in representation to serve you, meaning to protect you, build bridges and roads and things like that, what gives you the right to speak out if you're not going to vote in someone to work for you?
Being a man. And a man speaks for himself and doesn't have other. So it looks like you're the beta here, huh? So you're the beta who wanted the alpha Donald Trump to represent you, but the real alpha, Michael Malice, who has Hitler on his phone, is going to speak for himself.
But I can't do everything. I need to hire someone to do it for me. For example, I don't have time to build a strong military.
Correct.
I needed the Great White Hope to do that. I don't have time to
if you want something, you pay them. You hire them.
I hired the Great White Hope.
You didn't. You got Biden.
No, but I hired
crazy.
the Great White Hope.
No, you didn't. Listen, if I want someone as a doctor, I pick which doctor I want. If I want a lawyer or a chef or a radio host or podcast host, I pick who I want. The idea that I got to go in a booth and whoever my neighbors want is who I got to be stuck with makes no sense.
But I picked Donald Trump.
But you didn't get Donald Trump.
Well, you know why.
Why? Because democracy is a sham.
I rest my case. Yeah.
You know what? Ask him, because his daughter converted. Ivanka converted Judaism.
His daughter converted, you say?
Yes, and she's observant. She's more religious than me. She keeps Shabbos. She keeps kosher.
Well, that's because she married a Jew, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, she did it the real way. She went through the ceremony. She went through the whole process. She follows the rituals much more than I do.
Does that guy have money or something?
Jared? Oh, yeah. Jared Kushner is very wealthy.
Well, no wonder she converted.
I don't think... I think Ivanka Trump had plenty of her own money.
Not more than the Jew.
That's not true. She had more. Trump's a billionaire. Kushner's not a billionaire.
I know, but Trump is a billionaire. She wasn't.
Yeah, but it's the family money. Come on.
No, it's Trump money.
Yeah.
Listen, one thing about the Jews, since you brought them up again.
I didn't bring them up. You keep bringing them up. I feel like I'm in Germany.
They say that the Jews own all the media and everything. Is that true?
I think there's a lot of Jews who are represented in media, but if you look at who owns everything, I don't think it's at all universal. And if you look at the faces, certainly Anderson Cooper, Joanne Reed, Don Lemon, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, these are not Jewish voices.
So you're saying it's not true that the Jews own most of the media, if not all?
I'm saying it's not true. And I would encourage everyone to do their own homework on this issue.
I'm glad you tell me, because a lot of this stuff I'm hearing because I'm in the media, and people think I'm taking sides with the Jew, or they think I'm taking sides with this person. And when I don't know a lot of, I'm black and slow. I grew up in Alabama. I don't know about a lot of this mess.
Yeah, but you know how to use listen, even though you're a boomer, you know how to use a computer.
No, I don't. Believe me, I don't.
That sounds like you're a beta.
When it comes to that, I am beta. That's for sure.
Amazing.
So, growing up in the Soviet Union.
I grew up here. We moved here when I was 2.
Okay, but knowing about what went on over there,
yeah.
What is the solution to change what's happening in our country?
I think it is getting people radicalized and having them realize you are trying to play a game where the rules are stacked against you. So the way to win is to stop playing the game and not try to play the game on your enemy's terms. And to realize that you've been trained since kindergarten in government schools to believe things that aren't true.
Yeah,
and you have to make it a point to find independent voices and fight for your critical thinking, as opposed to smiling and nodding at what you see the people on the screen say, including me and you. Think for yourself, and as soon as you realize how much you're being lied to, a lot of dominoes start falling in your mind.
Critical race theory. What do you think about that?
I think it's just a great con job for upper middle class, college educated urban elites to feel good about feeling bad about themselves.
Why are white people allowing that to happen? Because they've been blamed for everything. Why are they letting that go on, and they're going to be teaching that to little children, little white children, telling them that they're evil simply because they're white? Why are white parents and white people allowing that?
Because being violently anti-racist is the only way low-quality people can feel better about other people. So if I'm bringing nothing to the table, but I can say all these people around me are racist, well, that's one thing I have over them, and that makes me a good person morally. So it really fulfills a narcissistic need in a certain kind of mindset. And it's also, when you read the certain same organizations, the New York Times, the New Yorker, the Atlantic, and all these other outlets, and everyone in your social group is reading the same thing, and those are putting out this agitprop, you're going to follow suit and smile and nod because you don't want to stick your neck out, because the person who sticks their neck out is going to be a target for your crowd.
That's amazing, man. Are you in support of putting a wall around the borders?
Well, I think it's important to have border control. I don't know that a wall is necessarily the best way to do it.
But why not?
Because people find ways over walls, and the thing is, there's lots of people here who we don't want here, and there's lots of people who did get over the wall who aren't hurting anybody. So it becomes a tricky situation. Immigration, one of the reasons we beat the Soviet Union and the West beat communism is because all the doctors and engineers, started emigrating the West. It was called the brain drain. It's because they're like, why am I sitting here oppressed when I could put up my shingle in America and make something of myself? So those immigrants we certainly want, educated, highly skilled people. The more the merrier.
I don't want any of them over here.
You don't want educated people?
No, we got enough here already.
I think we could use a lot more we could use a lot more doctors. And especially, here's the thing, if you're an immigrant, you're going to be a lot less susceptible to the bullshit that people who were raised in America are going to believe from the media.
Not these that are coming over now because they've been taken care of by the government. No,
I'm talking about adults who are educated and technically skilled.
The educated ones are the worst ones.
How?
Because they have no common sense.
In America, they are. But if you're going to cross an ocean to make a better life for your family, you're thinking for yourself to some capacity.
So are you in support of the wall or you're not?
I think the wall is a distraction. I have no problem with the wall, but I don't think the wall is going to solve this issue. Do you?
And so are you in support of the wall?
I don't support any government program, so I'd have to say no.
Over in Israel, they have a wall around the borders, and I've seen it and visited there, and the wall has cut back a lot on the invasion of the enemies of the Jews. It works in Israel. Why wouldn't it work here?
Well, first of all, I don't think Mexico is our enemy. And I think I would rather have 100 Mexicans come over than 100 college graduates from Harvard. And
but
they're
not just coming from Mexico, even though there are enemies coming from Mexico too. They're coming from around the world.
Right. So if there's only a wall in the southern border, it's not going to solve that problem, right? Because there's planes. So the issue is not going to be solved by a wall, as you just said.
Were you for the wall in Israel?
I'm not an Israeli citizen. I'm not in a position to discuss that. But if they want to build a wall, I have no problem with Americans building a wall. I'm just saying, as you pointed out, if people are coming from all over the world, let's take it to what's happening right now. A lot of people are saying we should take in as many Afghans as possible from Afghanistan.
I disagree.
I'm saying right. The point is, a lot of them, how do you know you're not letting in Taliban in, right? How are you going to pick and choose? And if we can say we need them to be safe, that doesn't mean they have to be safe in America. They can be safe in other countries, right?
That's right.
If there's a wall, that's not going to change that issue. That has nothing to do with the Afghan issue.
But at least we can stop the flow with the wall.
It wouldn't stop it. It would slow it down.
Right. We could put the wall and the military. Then we'll stop it.
Yeah, but again, if you're dealing with the Afghan issue, that's not going to have to do with either of them.
Right. I got to put you on. Oh, do you love white people?
I love all people.
Do you love white people?
I sure I love white people as well as black people and everybody else.
Do you love white
Almost.
people?
Yes.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
What now? I got to put you on the hot seat. My time is running out here with you.
Okay.
So I got to put you on the hot seat. I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible.
Okay.
The hot seat.
Are there any Russian stereotypes that are not true?
No.
Are you an alpha male or beta male?
I decline to answer like any alpha would.
Should China pay reparations to the world for the Chinese virus?
No.
Did Big Mama Michelle eat up all the tamales?
Pass.
Who is doing the most to save America right now?
The forgotten American, who's people we don't know his name.
Should Christian bakers be forced to make same-sex wedding cakes?
No one should be forced to do anything they don't want to if they're being peaceful. So no.
Should a man ever tell a woman his problems?
Yes.
But who has more privilege? Black people or gay people?
Black people.
In one word, describe Kamala Harris.
That's the word.
Do you support abortion?
No.
Are women equal to men?
No one's equal to anyone.
Are women equal to men?
No.
Should a woman ever be educated?
Yes.
Would you ever marry an educated woman?
Yes.
Is it true that an educated woman would never make for a good wife and a mother to your children?
False.
False. Thank you for taking the hot seat, man.
Well, thank you. It's burned my ass.
Tell the folks how to get your podcast, your books, and whatever else you have going on.
Anarchisthandbook.com will teach you how to save this country, and twitter.com/Michael Malice. And the podcast is your welcome. This has been such a pleasure, Jesse.
I was going to ask, did you have fun?
Oh, it was amazing. And I'm an alpha now. I know it.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on, man. But go and forgive your father and your mother, and you'll be free.
Okay.
You got to face them.
Okay.
They couldn't help themselves.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to end up marrying your mama.
Well, that ship has sailed.
Amazing. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, sir.
And happy Man History Month.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate